Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary or SITREP of the third Sudan Civil War. So the Sudan have already had two major civil war, and I think the previous one was the one that involved South Sudan. So this time round, this is the third Sudan Civil War, and it's being fought over by the Sudanese Armed Forces, basically the junta that is actually running the country, as well as their previous partner in crime, the Rapid Support Forces, led by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemeti. And the Sudanese Armed Forces is led by the General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and these two has been sharing power, and they cannot agree on who should be the leader of the military once these two formation combine. And obviously both think that they are the rightful ruler or the rightful leader of the eventual military in the combined force, so they fight it out. So this is the day one of the situation over in Sudan. There is 2 days more. There is a second. You can see that it's actually there's a lot more information, but because to make this more digestible, this is the day one as well as day -2, what's happened just before the war started. So let's on to the SITREP. It all started on the 13th of April. There was this sudden mobilization and gathering and deployment of the Rapid Support Force, the RSF forces at Khartoum or Khartoum. In Arabic they call it Khartoum. So at Khartoum, as well as other major cities around Sudan, as well as the Merowe airport or the Merowe airport, which is actually over here, Merowe International Airport. And this is and this gathering of forces is duly noted by the Sudanese military, and they are getting more and more tense at this moment, as the tension is rising with forces showing down on each other. And this is coming to around the time where they are supposed to sit down and relinquish power to form the civilian government. So looks like they ran out of time and they decided to fight it out rather than let the civilians take over. And while this happened, there was Egyptian forces actually at the Merowe airport. They were actually at the airport region because they had a joint exercise with the Sudanese Armed Forces, and however they were unable to get out. So what happened was that these rebel forces, or I'm not even sure if you should call them the rebel, this paramilitary, the Rapid Support Force, actually took over the Merowe airport. So they, on the 15th of April, on the first day of this civil war, in the first hours of the day, the RSF actually took control of the Merowe airport, and they actually captured the Egyptian special forces, the commandos. And this is and then among the soldiers, it was supposedly 20 Egyptian troops, and apparently there is also some very interesting thing at this airport. There was actually Egyptian aircraft, and allegedly it's actually this aircraft over here. These Egyptian aircrafts were, let me find the one. The Egyptian aircraft were actually somehow hosted at this airbase, this Sudanese airbase, for a long time. Reportedly, they were actually participating in these now eagers to join maneuvers that took place in March, but somehow they are still here despite the exercise was over. There is no known there's no clear indication that there are pilots getting arrested or captured yet. The one that is captured are the special forces. So far things are still quite a blur at this moment, and this airport is actually pretty major military base, it seems, and this is actually in between the from the capital city of Khartoum to the Egyptian border. And over at Khartoum itself, that's where the most of the fighting is happening, because this is the capital city, and the fighting is reported at the Khartoum airport, which is actually here. So there was fighting being reported here on the 15th, according to New York Times, and the fighting then spread over to the presidential palace, probably around here, which there's a presidential hall over here. So I believe this is actually the presidential palace. And fighting is also being reported over here at the Sudan broadcasting station. And while all this is happening, fighter aircraft from the junta forces actually flew over and airstrike on this RSF forces, the rapid support forces. So there is then also fighting being reported at the Omdurman region. According to the Sudanese Doctors Union, they reported that 183 people has been injured, and then there was also information of fighting in the south Khartoum. According to the Daily Herald, they say that they reported that the Sudanese army say the fighting broke out, after the RSF troops tried to attack its forces in the southern part of the capital. And this is actually alleged to be how the entire civil war started, but clearly this is not the case, because if the paramilitary actually deployed their forces all over the place, clearly this is actually a planned thing and not just a misfire that caused some kind of fighting. And of course, the military declared the RSF a rebel force and described all statements as lies. And interestingly, the RSF actually declared that the military is actually part of the previous government that they overthrew together, and basically call them Islamic terrorists. Very interesting. So the junta air force that actually bombed Khartoum is actually deployed from this airport over at the Wadi Saidna air base. So there is another air base over here in the north of Khartoum. So from this air base, the Sudanese aircraft, the fighter air force, actually operates and bomb the RSF forces within the capital city. And moving away from the capital itself, there is also multiple things that had happened. The junta actually declares that there will be no negotiation with the RSF. So according to their official statement on their Facebook page. So one interesting thing to note is that the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces, talks to the public on Twitter, whereas the junta, the Sudanese Armed Forces, talk to the public via Facebook. So it's basically like a Twitter versus Facebook war of sorts. So anyway, according to the El Arabiya.net, the Sudan Armed Forces dismissed the possibility of negotiation or dialogue with the Rapid Support Forces. So basically, this will be a fight to the end. There will be no negotiations anymore, and they say that there will be no negotiations or dialogue until the dissolution of the paramilitary RSF. So this will be a fight to the end, and this civil war is going to go on for a little while, a short while. And other than the fighting in the main city, and as well as the north near Karima, there is also fighting reported at LOB. At LOB, the Sudanese Doctor Union said that there is fighting around this area here, also in the city of Nyala and Fashir. So let's move out. So at Nyala, this is also the fighting here is actually also reported by Ryba, the pro-Russian source, or the pro-Russian OSIN group, which you probably know very well from Ukraine war coverage. They reported that the local garrison reportedly have surrendered to the rebel forces, which is basically the RSF, and then some of these forces actually went over to the RSF side. So this is Niala. My computer is a bit laggy. Maybe I opened too many tabs. Give me a while. Yeah, I turned off a lot of my browser tabs. So it looks, yeah, it's faster now. And there is also fighting being reported at El Junaina. So at Al Junaina, the RSF reportedly have captured the El Sahid Sabira airport over here. And so the tentatively it does on the day one, things is actually in flux. Most people are not too exactly sure what's happening. We only know that a lot of the fighting is actually happening over here in Khartoum, and there is fighting reported at LOB, Niala, Al Fashir, as well as El Junaina. So at Al Fashir, there is fighting reported over at this city over here. However, the junta forces in their in the new Sudan 211 Facebook page, they reported that the 6th Infantry Division of the Sudanese Armed Forces reportedly have achieved victory in the fighting at Al Fashir. So let me Al Fashir, and they actually seized the rebel HQ. Basically, the RSF actually have HQ in basically every city. So it's a bit like a police station kind of thing, I guess. And somehow in their military base at Al Fashir, they actually captured reportedly 100 military vehicles with various weapons. Of course, at this stage of war, is a lot of misinformation going around on both sides. So we can just take this with a pinch of salt. So this is the summary for the day one of the fighting over in Sudan, in the Sudan Civil War. And the day 2 and day 3 SITREP will be in the next coming videos. Do check it out. Stay tuned. Press the like button. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. If you are interested to cover this, for me to cover this war, do comment below and let me know if you want me to cover this on a daily basis or more, and what you think. As well as do check out the headlines. So on the this is published on the DPA War channel. Check out the DPA main channel, where I will be covering the incidents, the situations over in the geopolitical realm that actually give you a fuller picture of the global situation or the political situation over at Sudan. So in the SITREPs, it will be largely military reports. So that's all, and I'll see you in the next update.